Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your new moon in Libra reading. And the new moon in Libra, of course, is coming up around October 6th. It's going to be at 5:05 a.m. Mountain Standard Time is when it's going to be at its fullness. So depending on where you're at in the world, you can figure that out there. And the energy of this new moon, of course, it's Libra, so it's all about compromise, give and take, negotiating or renegotiating. And then with this new moon with Libra, it can include a restart of some kind. And it ends with a healthy and well-balanced result. You know, the Libra tint to it all can suggest doing things in pairs or doing these new things in pairs. And it can either be with another human who's of like mind. You know, Libra is the air sign, which is, representative of swords, suit, and it's about your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs. So it's someone with like mind. It's like this balanced individual with you on either side. Not like this, where this is showing out of balance, right? It's more of a balanced pair. Or if you're not really looking for a human of like mind, then you can have this, the pair that you can have is pairing up with spirit. And that would be the less dramatic choice, right? Usually. And a Libra is also the sign of love and harmony, negotiation and relationships. So it's harmonious, it's kind, it's luxurious, and always aiming for balance. So it doesn't like this out of balance feeling. It's wanting to balance things out. Now, this is the new moon in Libra, and so when you're looking at the cycles of the new moon to the full moon, even outside of it happening monthly, you can look at the full cycle. It's a 6-month full cycle of going from a new moon in Libra to a full moon in Libra back to a new moon in Libra. So the last full moon that we've had in Libra in the past was March 28th of this year. And that was a time of things climaxing in areas that, in these areas we've talked about of our lives, right? And since then, when you move from a full moon to a new moon, it's about what you're letting go. So since then, you've been letting things fall away that no longer serve those events, or you've been at least thinking about what you want to let go. And now that we're headed close to the new moon, now's the time to balance all that out. So what we're going to be asking for in this reading, because we're going to do a special reading just for your each individual sign, we're going to ask, what are you ready to balance to ignite that new start? Or what does the Creator want you to know about balancing and about this new start? So we're going to go ahead and jump into your reading right now, and we shall find out the answers. Here we go. All right, my Capricorns, this is your reading for the new moon in Libra. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from this Clarity deck, and it's produced by this company called Girls Gone Happy. And I must admit, I mention this in every reading whenever I use these cards, that I just love that name, and it makes me smile just saying Girls Gone Happy. And regardless if you are a boy or a girl, or however you identify as, I think we can all agree that we can all be girls gone happy. And we're going to do that right now. We're going to be happy little girls. All right. This card's going to represent what the Creator wants you to know about balance in your life, and whether it's what needs to be balanced or just information about being balanced, or whatever the Creator wants you to know for this beautiful new moon in Libra energy coming. So that's going to be your card there. And then we're also going to pull some cards here from this Everyday Tarot. And these are going to be the clarification for this card here, whatever else the Creator wants us to know. And it's going to be like 3 cards. That's number 1. Wow, that's number 2. And what's card number 3? Okay. And we will be pulling more cards down here or up here to balance things out. But these will clarify those. And then we're going to pull a card here from this Crystal Medicine Oracle. This is going to be the medicine or the tool that helps you with balancing this scenario here, whatever the creator is bringing forward. So for our Capricorns, what medicine do you want them to know is available to them? Whoa, okay. Do like two? Okay. You get an extra one, which is awesome. And then, like I said, I will pull cards here after that, but we're going to jump in. Oh, actually, no, I knew there was one more deck. Divine Directions is, we're also going to have one card from here. This is going to be like just the overall message for the entire period there. Did you peek at that? Well, if you did, that's okay. If you saw it, you were meant to see it. But they also wanted it to be veiled. So we're going to start here, and you have competition. Dun, dun, dun. And it says, how are your beliefs around competition holding you back from your highest good? How are they moving you towards it? And what do these beliefs teach you about your approach to relationships, work, and conflict? So competition is the thing where you can use some balance in your life, either your belief in no competition or your belief in severe competition. It's about balancing your beliefs around that, or in that black and white, I'm kind of thinking. And we're going to pull cards here to see what else. So we got Queen of Swords, and this makes total sense because swords are all about your thoughts, your beliefs, your mentalities, your mindsets, your expectations. And the Ace of Swords that she holds in her one hand here is what she uses to cut away those thoughts and those beliefs that no longer serve her, with her being the queen, she's almost at the end of the suit, so she has learned a lot around thinking and the mind and, the mindsets and all those things. And so she has also, one of the things she's learned, she has one hand extending outward, which means having a closed mind does not generally aid us very well. And so keeping an open mind, allowing for new thoughts and new beliefs and new ways of seeing things is an important part. And so with this competition, it's like not using that sword to defend yourself, but rather use it to cut away the things that no longer serve you, but allow yourself to hear from others. The other thing that she learned, she's sitting here on a throne of cups, which the cups in the tarot represents our emotions. And so she also learned that making decisions strictly from logic and mind information does not always serve us very well. And so bringing in heart along with the mind helps with this beautiful balance in life and allows you to have more, it allows you to make choices that are more in alignment with who you really are and what you're wanting in life. And then you also have the High Priestess. So definitely beautiful water energy, because she's all about moving into the unconscious and the subconscious. She's the one that gets to see beyond the veil and get into the hidden things and the understanding of things. And what I feel this card brings in, especially with this competition, is that, it has two pillars on the side, a black pillar and a white pillar, and it's about opposing beliefs, about opposing understandings. And what I love about it is it's like this energy of, like I said, not resisting and not defending, but being open-minded and getting into understanding why that other person has that opposing viewpoint or that competitiveness with you, and understanding instead of working against each other, you can transform that, because it is the number 2 in the deck. You see at the top there. So instead of being these opposing forces, you can actually work together instead. And so I love this energy and this awareness that's coming through these cards here. Yeah. Because it'll kill you. Competing too much is going to kill you. And if you don't, the other thing I was talking about, because this is about death and rebirth, it's not really about you dying, not normally, so it's, really about the ending of the old ways of doing things, having this new beginning, putting an end to things that no longer serve you. And the other thing we had talked about in the beginning was the extreme, like being too competitive or being believing not in having any competition whatsoever. And there's this energy around that of, I'm trying to think of a better word, but all they keep on saying is you can get lazy about your life, and you can just become stagnant and lifeless, literally dead, right? You can become lifeless when you don't feel like you want to healthily compete. And healthy competition is like even like not competing with other people, but competing with yourself, right? Going, oh, okay, I want to do this even better. So how can I do that? And it's not about judgment, and it's not about fear of failure. It's about you wanting to take things to another level. And so that is also within that. And let's take a look at here. You have 2 tools. So let's take a look. The first one is freedom. You got the eagle there, and the blue barite. I'll let you see that. So you can pronounce it any way you want to. But yeah, so that's the crystal that helps free you. And that's card number 12. And then you have cleansing and feather. And that's black tourmaline, number 6, which is half of 12. And so what I love about this, the eagle gets to see things from a higher point of view. And definitely there's this, the eagle has this beautiful kind of awareness that goes through when the little eaglet, and when it's time for the eaglet to fly, the mother and father eagles, when they create the nest, they create it so comfortably and safe, and have feathers, and they've got cloth and other stuff in there to make it really soft for the eggs. And then when the eggs hatch for the eaglets, so it's not pokey, but the rest of the nest on the outside is all these made of all these branches, so it's all pokey and everything, if you've seen an eagle's nest. And then when it's time for the little eaglets to, it's time for you to fly, the little eaglets are like, why? It's so cozy and nice in here. Why would I even want to, attempt to fly? That's crazy. Are you crazy? You're bringing me food. You just go get me more food. So they start tearing away all the comforts out of the nest, and they make it where it's pokey, and they stop bringing as much food, so that they are have this incentive to start jumping up on the nest and up onto higher branches, and eventually flying. And I kind of feel that this is where this freedom comes, is it's nice when things are given to us, but that is not for our highest good. And that's something that's happening with this competition, competitiveness. The positive, healthy piece of it for you is to realize that at the end of it, you can fly like an eagle. I don't want to start singing into the future, but you can fly above the storms, and you can do so much more, and it'll be so much healthier than if you're just hanging around in the nest. And then comes this, because the eagles have feathers, I feel like we're supposed to read this from the book for this number 6 here for you. All right, so for cleansing, it says, this sacred medicine has shown up for you today as a sign it's time for a cleansing on all levels, mind, body, and spirit. Just as it is important to cleanse our physical body when we get dirty, it's also important to cleanse your energy bodies. The human system contains a sensitive chakra system and an auric field made of energy, a field that can be sensitive to other vibrations. Have you ever experienced a feeling of walking through a crowd and suddenly your mood has changed? Or of walking into a room and you sense an uncomfortable feeling? What is happening here is a sensing and a feeling of the thought forms and energy of others, which can be held in our own field and cause confusion and imbalance. Have you been feeling flat, burnt out, unmotivated, or simply just not feeling yourself? Your energy may be stale and heavy, or you may have had a recent disagreement with someone and not be seeing eye to eye with them. Competition, right? There are strong signs you're taking on energy and it's time for a purification. These are strong signs you are taking on energy and it's time for purification. And this can be done with a simple cleansing process. Working with medicines such as sage, black tourmaline, salt water, natural waterways, meditation, dance, singing, sound, food, plants, and much more. You're being encouraged to take some time to cleanse your chakras and your aura with whatever medicine you feel drawn to. This process can be simple, yet very powerful. And after you cleanse, you'll feel lighter, like an eagle floating on the wind, right? You'll feel lighter, more energized, clearer, and balanced, and have a deep sense of yourself and your own energy again. You will feel totally refreshed and renewed. Love it. And then the medicine of the feather, it says feathers are sacred medicine tool of shamans and healers. They've been working with their powerful medicine for thousands of years and understand how to utilize their gifts. Each feather has its own spirit and medicine to share. When the shamans work with the sacred feather, they honor the bird and call in its spirit, embodying the energy of the bird and transferring this medicine through the feather. And I'll go on here in a sec, but I really feel led to tell you, search, like Google or whatever your favorite search engine is, eagle feather medicine, because I feel like the eagle was brought to us specifically regarding your situation. So just look into eagle feather medicine. And it says feathers are also used as tools for cleansing the energy field as they invoke and call upon the element of air. Feathers are a symbol of protection and hope from the angelic realms. When you see a feather, it can also be a sign from a deceased loved one. Feathers have a sense of magic to them and have come to you today as a sign. What message are you getting from the sacred feathers? I love it. And then black tourmaline, it mentions the crystal here, that cleanses and protects your energy field. And it's great to have around any electronic devices as it also dissolves the negative energy coming from these items. And it's one of the movers and the shakers of the crystal kingdom and has dynamically shifts energy. So if you're into crystals and you have black tourmaline, you might consider using that. All right. We're also going to pull some cards here. So if you go through this cleansing and you go through this awareness, as you review and look at this competition and those questions, then this is what the Creator wants you to know about what comes out on the other side. All right, Creator, what else? What do you want the Capricorns to know about what happens after this medicine? Okay. Whoa. Okay. This is the one they want, and I'll pick those up afterwards. I don't need to heavy weight on that. But yeah, this was, they had this one. I was like, that's the one. Leave those. I'm like, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. See, this is the Three of Swords. Swords are your mindsets, your beliefs, your attitudes. We talked about all that with this Queen of Swords here. And I call this the expectations card because this, represents heartbreak. This is disappointment. We have all these shoulds, supposed tos, need tos, have tos that we have in our lives that came through the conditioning of praise and punishment growing up. All those opinions from the outside we took on as our crest of things that should happen in our lives and how people should act and how things should be. And then they don't, we get disappointed. And, look at all those tears, that feeling of heartbreak, of fear piercing our heart. And what I love is this cleansing helps cleanse those, because this Queen of Swords here, I'm going to put it above here because we've got swords and swords. This awareness that you have, and this Ace of Swords that she has in her hands is what you're able to cut away these expectations, these things no longer serve you. And I kind of feel like this competitiveness has this negative tonation in it for you, in not only about how you judge others, but how you judge yourself so harshly. And so this medicine that you're having here allows you to use this Ace of Swords to really understand what these expectations are, these things that hurt you so deeply in your life. You're able to look at it and understand, especially with digging into the unconscious with the High Priestess here. It allows you to let go of that old way of thinking. And so you do have this transformation that happens in your expectations. It's like there's this, I'm having like this expectation count in my head, and it has like it's almost like one of those now serving McDonald's signs, but it's like now have this many expectations, and it's like 1 billion served, but it has this number that's going smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and so it's like you're cutting away just exponentially at a very fast rate all these expectations you have on yourself and the world, and allowing yourself that more of that freedom that we're talking about here. In fact, I'm going to put it like this. Actually, I'm going to put it like this, because this is the medicine and this is the feeling you have afterwards. Yeah, and then you have the Ace of Wands, which is new energy, a beautiful new energy, spiritual energy, bodily energy, mental energy. Just have this new spark and this new step. And so I'm going to put this above death, because that's like the death, and this is like that rebirth. It's like almost so I have this movie in my mind where someone's has their heart has stopped beating, death, and then they have this syringe of that adrenaline in their heart, and they're like, ugh, and they're revived and alive, and you just feel this new revived feeling, which comes from that freedom, because all this energy you're investing in maintaining all these expectations, policing everyone else, making sure they're also living up to your expectations, all that energy that you're taking away from there comes back into you, and then you just feel this amazing flood. Yeah. You go, 5 of Wands. And I love this because that kind of looks like competition. It's not war. This is like training among friends. And I love this feeling of this card, because it does transform from, we think it's challenges, competition in our life. People are trying to beat us. But that's the story that our ego puts to that. And when we go through this transformation and we understand what's really going on, is the people in your life come into your life for a reason, on purpose, for a purpose. And they help you move to higher levels of awareness. And it's kind of like, I don't know, I'm having all these movies play in my head, but I have like this Kung Fu movie where, there's this monastery where the monks are training, and they know that when they're battling with each other, they're not fighting each other. They're not war. They're not in a real battle. They're not really trying to hurt one another, but they're sparring with each other. They're competing with each other to raise their skills. And so I feel like this transformation of this defensiveness that you have, that it just transforms into this beautiful, anything that's happening in my life that's challenging me is not, the intentions aren't to kill me, like death. It's actually to help me raise my skill level. And that's kind of what I feel with all that. So beautiful. And then you have your final message, divine directions. And it says home. It's time to renovate or change something in your home environment or move home. And so really there's this movement, and that can, it's a general reading, so that can be a message for some of you. You actually do need to make movement, but I feel like a majority of you, it's about moving from old ways of thinking into new ways of thinking, because this Ace of Swords is such a huge piece of this movement, with all these expectations falling away. So it is moving from one way of believing about yourself and others to a new, which then can also roll out into the physical world. So you could be moving from relationships, you could be moving into relationships, you could be moving away from a job or moving into a new career. You could be, again, moving into a new home or moving away from and leaving a home. So beautiful, especially with that eagle message here. You're ready to renovate, take away a lot of those comforts out of there because you're ready to fly, right? So that mama and papa eagle were renovating their nest to make it for a specific, situation. Maybe it's time for your children to move out so you can use their rooms and make it into what you want. Jokes for most of you. Maybe it is serious for some of you. But I'm loving this for you. All right, Capricorns, I'm going to leave it at that. Just know as you go throughout this beautiful adventure every day, you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And I love you too. Have an amazing adventure, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. You take care.